Alright, I'm going to explain what isekai is, because for these next couple videos, I'll be talking about the genre, tropes, how to get isekai'd. So according to Google, I'm just going to get it straight to the point. You can get off this video after this is done, but I want you to hold on a little bit. Isekai is a Japanese fantasy and science fiction genre where a main character is transported, trapped, or reincarnated into a parallel or different world. It is similar to the Western portal fantasy, like Alice in Wonderland. Ooh. Connection between the West and the East. There's basically a bunch of different genres, but what it comes down to, me, other world, I go to the other world. That is what isekai is in its simplest genre. There's a couple of different isekai. You can get isekai'd into a fantasy world, just like Alice in Wonderland, or you can get isekai'd into a sci-fi. There's not many of those, but there's a couple pretty good. There's like Star Wars. You get isekai there. I'm not gonna talk about those. Let's see. There's different types of ways to get isekai'd, and I'll be making a couple videos about those and how they're usually very formulaic and they usually lead to other stories. And why do I like isekai? That's what this main video is about. It's very formulaic. Like, you can generally guess, but within those formulas, people can do some really interesting stuff, you know? Like, take the fact they usually get isekai'd to be a hero. What if I don't want to be a hero? I just want to be some farmer. You could go be a farmer. So the author does that. It's like, why are they always isekai'd as a hero? What if they were isekai'd as a slime? What if they were isekai'd as a monster? What if they were isekai'd as a demon? No. What if the demon got isekai'd into our world and was a fast food worker? Ooh. Or what if the demon got isekai'd into our world and was just a straight up bum who was also turned into a little girl when she runs out of energy? Not sure why that's a thing, but that one's actually pretty good. And there's just so many stories that these guys come up with, and I'm like, this is trash. It's formulaic garbage, but it's so good I just can't stop eating it. Like, there's a bunch of tropes. There's always tropes, but it's when they break those tropes that you get something good. There's always gonna be some random cat-eared girl. There's gonna be an elf. But what do they do with those? What if that cute cat-eared girl is actually a buff man? What if that elf guy is also a buff man? And what if the main character was also a buff man? That hasn't been done yet, but trust me, give it 4 years. 4 years. It's gonna be, oh no, I got isekai'd into a world, but everyone's a buff man. I have to get back home, back to the women. That would be dumb. But yeah. Should I talk about anime tropes? Well, isekai is near and dear to my heart, because there's just so much that I've read, so much absolutely peak, some absolutely terrible stuff that I had to put down because I was like, that is horrible. And it gives you an interesting look into the minds of these people and these Japanese people and what they value and how their formulas work. And then you also got manhwa, which is like Korean manga that you can read on your phone. They're webtoons. They're designed for your phone, so I mostly read those. And those focus on like completely different topics and matters compared to manga. But there's also like the ideas of being overworked and going to a different world to escape this reality because it's just too hard. It's escapism. It's fantasy, you know? That's why a bunch of them are in a fantasy world, because it's different from here. It's not the now. But then sometimes they bring the fantasy over here so that we can meet the two, you know? Like there's this one where it's this elf girl who wants to lose weight, so she goes to the gym. That's interesting. Why not just have it be a normal girl? Because that wouldn't be as interesting, now would it? Now there's also just really bad formulas where it's like, oh, you brought the isekai over here, what are they doing? They're just normal. It's just normal society. Nothing changed. Nothing's different. Nothing ever change. War never changes. But instead put isekai. Isekai never changes. And I'll download Fallout 4 clip, just war never changes. Really, just isekai is interesting. Because it is so formulaic. People always do new stuff. And they get cut before it gets good. And sometimes it just never gets good. It's just bad throughout. And you'll just be reading 40 chapters of just the worst one. And then you're waiting months for your favorite one to get updated. You're like, okay, finally, it's getting updated. And then you learn, nope, can't. It's always a gamble when you're reading these and you're like, wow, this is probably the best isekai manga I've read in forever. Nah, no more. And then you'll be reading something like, oh, my house, it got isekai into another world. And there's something like 200 chapters. Or like 100 chapters. I went back to that manga. I was like, is that still going on? Because it recently ended. Or the last chapter got translated to English. And I was like, whoa, that was still going on? That was at like 50 chapters or like some big number when I first started reading. It's crazy what, you know, gets popular and continues. It's usually slice of life is what I've seen is the most popular and slash can run the longest because it is so formulaic, but like it's also personal to you. Well, to the author. They can put their own spin onto it. And I like those every now and again where it's like, yeah, it's just fluff. It's just fluffy. It's like, but in the anime community, you just call it fluff because there's nothing to it. It's kind of like, you know, marshmallow, like cotton candy, like this. There's nothing to it. It's just fluff. You know, you bite into it. But I like my sweet. Hey, this guy, he retires. He gets an orphanage. Whoa. But then it hits you with the, oh, I gotta come back. I gotta go back into the adventure life. Oh no. I have to let go of this orphanage. And I'm like, just continue with the orphanage plot, my guy. And then you got, if you don't like one genre, you can just skip over to the next part. You like VR? There's a bunch of them. You got Sword Art Online, where they get trapped into a VR world. So many copycats. It's insane. But there's some good ones. Hardcore Leveling Hero, I think that's the one. Where he's really blood-based. That one's really good. And no one has to die. At first. But that was good. Sometimes you get some really nice one where it's this guy who adopts a monster girl or a child and raises her. Those are really fluffy and really good. You can get romance. I got Ishikaris and villainess, and it's my job to protect the heroine. Heroine's like the hero of the story. Villain is the villain of the story. And they get transported into the story and they're like, I'm gonna do this thing. Or like, they get reincarnated as some side character and they're like, I'm not gonna do nothing. But then the main hero of the original story is like, I like you a lot because you're different. And they're different because they know the original story. So they get surrounded by all these other people. And yeah. I've read a lot of those where it's just, oh no, I got isekai as a woman. I guess I gotta date men now. Or I got isekai. I was a woman originally, and I'm still a woman. Okay, that could be an actual title. I got isekai as a woman, even though I am a woman. I was expected to be a man. And it's their journey to become a man. I got all these ideas, but I don't want to put them right now because they're going into the other future videos. So, right, I'm not even sure how good this video is going to be. It's also a face reveal. Because I feel too lazy to go get a mask. And, yeah. Should be about it. I'll make a TikTok video just real quick. Post. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe.